In this special video, I've got a deep dive into Electric Dog, the minds behind the Flash Power Tools plugin. Jaw-dropping highlights from the AnimateCC community using these powerful tools. A tribute to the animation legends who inspired it all. And priceless career advice for anyone navigating the animation industry today. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get started. I remember the first time I saw the Flash Power Tools plugin in action. I was browsing the AnimateCC Facebook group, and there was a screen recording of a character with soft manipulation in action. The limbs of a fox and a rabbit were being moved around without the transform tool, and the hierarchy subtly affected all the children in the bone chain. It blew my mind because I had only seen those kinds of controls in 3D rigging, but here they were in AnimateCC. Vlad is a multimedia designer who lives and works in Sofia, Bulgaria. In the late 90s, he founded Electric Dog as a studio for video games, multimedia, and animation. Electric Dog has taken part in the development of projects for Hasbro Interactive, Mattel Interactive, Gateway Learning Corporation, Atari, THQ, Infogames, and Nickelodeon. He likes to listen to punk music and smoke really strong cigarettes. Nick lives in Australia and has been animating professionally for more than 25 years. Nick and Vlad studied traditional animation in the same class, and in the following 10 years worked on a bunch of projects together. I'm excited to hear from Nick as he tells us the story behind Flash Power Tools and shares what we can expect in the near future from this amazing extension for AnimateCC. So I have to say, I'm really thankful for the community you've built up and this amazing tool you and Vlad have created. I think rigging is a fascinating and important part of the animation world, and I'd love to get more of your thoughts about it. So Nick, what was the first version of Flash you used?
In the 1990s, Electric Dog was a service studio. Among other things, we used to do a lot of work for various game production companies. For most of those, we used Macromedia Director. Then, all of a sudden, in 1998, a new star appeared on the horizon, Macromedia Flash 3. Clients started to request the content to be produced in Flash. It allowed them to use the same sources for both video and on the emerging internet. At first, we only used Flash as an ink and paint tool to clean up and color frame-by-frame animation drawn on paper. The following year, 1999, Macromedia Flash 4 came out, and we gradually started exploring symbols and nested timelines. Superficially, Director and Flash had similarities, but in fact were very different creatures. In the early days, those similarities led to frustration because they created unjustified expectations. Once we got over our desire to constantly make parallels, things started to fall into their places. It definitely wasn't love at first sight, but 25 years later, I can call it a very serious long-term relationship.
I see that you've developed the EDAP toolset for over 10 years, and it's still going strong. What inspires you to create the Flash Power Tools plugin, and where do you see it going?
We started the project late in 2010, with our first public release in 2011. It was born out of frustration, not inspiration. Flash had a wonderful core, but because the internet grew so quickly and there was so much money to be made there, the developers focused all of their attention and efforts in the area of interactivity and video streaming, ignoring the desires and needs of animators year after year. At the time, I was teaching at an animation college in Sydney, and I found it very difficult to give a meaningful explanation to students why you should always type a number to set the first frame, but can't assign a shortcut to scrub through the content of a symbol, or why when you double-click, you always enter the symbol at frame 1 and not at the frame you just clicked. There were too many absurd, annoying little things that could be improved. From past experience working at studios, I knew that Flash could be extended. I had already designed a few simple commands. At a New Year's Eve party at Vlad's place, we decided to revive the Electric Dog and start a software project specifically aimed at improving the daily lives of my students and also by extension of all Flash animators and designers. More than a decade later, this project has outgrown our wildest dreams. EDAPTools is the most popular extensions package for Flash and Animate with tens of thousands of users all over the world. We all know the sad story. After Flash was viciously attacked by Apple, others joined the frenzy and Adobe were unable or unwilling to defend it. Only then, when the video streaming revenue had dried up, 15 years too late, Adobe suddenly decided to rebrand and court their character animator base. Unfortunately, this coincided with Flash, now called Animate, being handed to a very inexperienced new dev team who early on made some disastrous implementations. In their desire to provide better rigging options, they introduced the so-called advanced layers, a whole duplicate hidden structure of movie clips on which all the new functionality, such as layer parenting, virtual camera, and frame effects are based. More than 5 years later, these features are still full of bugs and dead ends, and they have not been able to stabilize them. Their efforts have been very counterproductive and inefficient. As a result, Animate has suffered a lot of reputational damage and has lost a huge part of its market share to well-managed competitors such as Toon Boom and Moho, or even Spine and Rive. It's rather unfortunate that the revolutionary introduction of our professional-grade inverse kinematic system, Smart Magnet Rig IK, coincided with the decline of Animate's popularity and reputation. To us, this is only a reprise of the initial situation which gave birth to this project. Our goal has not changed. We want to provide the best possible tools which will enable Flash animators to produce better animation more efficiently. If Adobe don't completely destroy Animate, we have big plans for the next decade. Even if Animate ceases to exist, we will keep developing for Flash, which is still very popular among independent creators.
What projects or animators have inspired you the most?
Gonagai, Владимир Суте,
Мультипликатор уже сменил место работы на издательство Дед Гиз, став автором для...
Ivan Ivanov Vano, The Fleischer Brothers,
Everyone, how do you do? The cooking.
Abiworks, Tex Avery,
Around about 40 years ago, I came down there with a storyboard.
Fritz Freeling, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, Ken Muse, Ed Benedict, Chuck Jones, Ken Harris, Bob McKimson, Preston Blair, Mary Blair, Milt Cole, Lynn Naylor, John Kay, Gendy Tartakovsky.
Haven't stand out from other films being made.
All these people are giants and I admire them deeply.
What would you like to see come out of our community? A film project? An animated series? Interactive experiences?
To us, the definition of our community is as broad as possible and includes all Flash animation professionals and enthusiasts, regardless of whether they are currently our users or not. These are the people we have in mind when designing the UX and developing the tools. Personally, I lost interest in interactive projects a long time ago, but there are several game companies who have bought EDAPT premium studio licenses and must be using the tools to produce high-quality work. There are also several universities, colleges and even high schools who teach our tools to their students. Add to this many animation studios and thousands of independent animators. The community is producing a huge output. Unfortunately, very few of these people get in touch with us or speak publicly about the tools they use. But this is not unexpected, as animators are generally quiet people who love drawing much more than talking. They concentrate on their projects and only speak with developers when they have an idea for a new tool or if something does not work as expected. We truly appreciate feedback and find it very inspiring and rewarding when people share their work with us. I would love to see more making of type of videos and articles where experienced colleagues demonstrate advanced methods and techniques publicly. The kind of content that you have been creating for your rig theory channel. Personal preferences aside, we would love to see more and better 2D animation produced in Flash in all possible styles and genres. A generation of happier animators equipped with better tools are again pushing the boundaries of what can be done with graphic symbols and nested timelines.
What advice would you give to artists who are considering 2D animation?
Learn to draw well on paper. Learn anatomy, perspective and composition while you're young. This profession is not for everyone. You should only try to become an animator if you can't imagine being anything else. If you have other interests or options, pursue those instead. Animation is magic, but it's also a lot of exhausting hard work, often in solitude. If you're just starting, lay a solid foundation upon which you can build a career. Learn the principles, don't rush with the software. A person who can't draw well will always produce amateurish looking designs and animation with even the most professional of tools. Tools do matter, but can make a difference only in the hands of skilled and capable artists with good ideas.
And finally, where can people find you and see some of your work?
I've had a reasonably successful career as an animator and character designer, but I consider this project as my most significant achievement. The tools are having a serious impact, making the day-to-day lives of countless animators better. Over the course of more than 10 years, I have released multiple pro-grade character builds which have been downloaded and studied by tens of thousands. With many theoretical articles and step-by-step tutorials, we are slowly building a knowledge base of good practices in the field of digital cutout animation. Our website is a valuable resource to the community, and we are very motivated to continue to provide both high-quality reference materials and the best possible tools. Our work can be seen at flash-powertools.com.
Nick, I'm so thankful for the time you took for this interview. I think I speak for a huge part of the animation community when I say that Flash Power Tools is a godsend that has made our profession so much better. I can't wait to see what you're up to next. Thanks for checking this out, everyone. I'm Law Jackson, and this is Rig Theory.